Hi, Julia. How's everything going with you?
Yeah, I want to say I'm good, but I also want to say like I feel like good and anxious comes and goes in waves.
Yeah.
In the last few weeks or actually few days, where I feel like okay, like right now I'm in a good place. But I also know that yesterday at this time I was like, ugh, I actually don't want to get out of bed right now.
Yeah. I mean, look, and I think that we're going to pick up on this, just so that everyone knows a little bit more about you. How about you just let us know maybe where you're based in the world and a little bit about what you do to fill in your day, maybe work-wise, or what you used to do for fun, or what you still do for fun, and then we're going to go right back to that topic.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I'm Julia Go. I am transformational grief and growth coach. And I started a podcast and kind of like um, I guess a tribe that is called Heal Your Heart After Baby Loss,
Mm.
which comes from my own experience of losing my son 4 years ago. He was born premature and he lived for 5 days, and um, and he changed my life. And like I said, grief and growth. I learned a lot through this experience. It's
Mm.
been a really, really hard time, but also a time that allowed me a lot of growth. And I want to share all the tools that helped me, the mindset that helped me, the thoughts and beliefs that helped me with other humans on this planet.
Mm.
Um, so I guess that is who I am. I'm not completely living from that idea of like being a coach. I had a job until not too long ago, until a few days ago,
Mm.
and I live in Auckland, here in New Zealand with my partner. Originally, I'm from Germany, as you might hear when I talk. Um, so yeah, I think that is who I am. I love doing stuff like meditation, self-development. I also like going for a walk and for a hike. I'm just a human being trying to live her best life, I
I
guess.
love that. So, I mean, look, baby loss is such an incredibly massive, massive topic. You know,
Mhm.
nobody wishes that on anybody. And there's somebody who's in this amazing, beautiful space like yourself where you are able to connect with those women and families that have lost this little miracle, right? And I think that that is such an incredible space, a tough, challenging space. Not downplaying that at all, but the fact that for the past 4 years you've been going through your own healing process and have gotten yourself to the space where you are now able to help other people in the same place with your beautifully calming nature is probably exactly what a lot of people are needing. So I just want to acknowledge the work that you are doing. I think that there's an incredible space out there for you to be able to reach as many people as possible. And I really do wish you well with that. I think that that is we need more people out there who actually talk about baby loss, who actually talk about grief. I know for myself, I struggled to fall pregnant, and it took me 5 years of IVF. And the first round didn't take. I only had 2 rounds, and the first round didn't take. And I came into some very, very small part of what that grief might feel like.
Mhm.
Fortunately, on the second round, when I was in the space to be able to try again, I had one more embryo left. And I thank every day that she was able to be born and is still around with me today. And I have her through this period of time, you know. And I have a massive part of my heart that goes out to all the women and all the husbands and all the partners and everybody else who's had to deal with that. So thank you so much for the work that you do. And I hope that it just goes from strength to strength. So thank you.
Thank you.
You mentioned earlier that you'd just recently lost your job. Is that got to do with COVID?
Yeah. So I guess it looks like COVID-19, the virus, taking like a big toll on all our lives, or a lot of our lives. I know that a lot of my friends have lost their jobs too. My partner, there is a high chance we're like kind of not in the unknown right now. He's working in tourism, so he has basically, there is no work to do because no one is coming into New Zealand. So until I guess 1 week ago, he had one of the safest jobs that you can have, when there's no worries about what's going to happen, and now from one day to another we are like, we don't know. The company is deciding at the moment how many people they can keep with the government funding, how many people they need to let go, and for how long they can keep the other people. They're making this decision right now. So he had to take 3 days of his holidays right now. Wow. And now he is at home waiting for their decision, which kind of takes a toll on us. My situation, my job situation has always been, I'm not the main earner, and I've always been also happy to take risks and not have this safety throughout, for my future, and not knowing is kind of common for me. But I also knew during our relationship that worst case, if I am jobless for a little bit and don't bring in money, I have his support financially. And now, like, I've been not working in tourism, but a really hospitality related job that I've lost now. Basically, it's not, not bringing any money at the moment. There are no customers.
Yeah.
So we are both in there, and that's been taking a big, I guess it has impacted our relationship during the last days. We've been arguing. I've been crying. We had arguments about like small stuff, big stuff, because we were both like on the edge. At the moment, we were in a good place, which makes it easier for me to share that we were arguing. So we made peace. We were talking it through, and we were both acknowledging that our arguments stem from our situation, and that we will get through this together no matter what happens. However, I want to acknowledge that just sometimes is what happens, and I've been feeling alone for maybe a whole day here, because I felt like, this is a situation where I really need to talk about this.
Yeah.
And his reaction was, well, this is a situation that I really don't want to talk about right now. And so that's been like something that happened for me since I guess we feel the impact here in New Zealand, because it's been impacting a lot of areas in this world before, and we are still not that much impacted. However, I feel like we should be even like be more careful than what we at the moment are already.
Yeah. I
So
think
yeah,
with,
that is where I am in the sense of job. That was your question.
yeah, with, it really is this really crazy, bizarre time, right? Nowhere in our life can we ever say that we have been on this brink of disaster or this brink of change, or it always gets drummed into us that if you want to grow, you should step outside of your comfort zone. But our comfort zone has actually become our survival. We need to do whatever it takes to survive, to not be affected by this, to be able to pay our bills, to still have everything stay the same. And so when something external of ourselves starts to infect or affect something on the internal side of ourselves, that's then when we start to go, wow, okay, this is really serious. I really need to work out what I'm doing here. I need to actually stop and I need to reassess everything in my life.
Yeah.
And it is about together we are strong. We have a lot of social distancing, we have a lot of isolation, we have a lot of don't go out. Okay, what all that is serving, other than to keep us safe and to reduce the spike of the new number of cases and the spread. I get that, I understand that. But what it's happening on a person level and on a social level is that it is making us feel like it is unsafe to communicate and to keep someone else close to us. So when we do have loved ones at home, they're our safety net. And then when something external of us starts to come in and it starts to affect our intrapersonal relationships, that with our children or our mum or our dad or our partner, that then makes it even harder, because without them, how do we make this through? How do we can say, oh, you know what, I've got this, I'm okay, I don't need anybody, I'm just going to hermit over here. But that is going to take a toll on us as humans, because it's our desire. We are here for love. We are here to experience connection, physical connection, emotional connection, spiritual connection, mental connection. We are here for connection. And if we don't have that as this integral part of why we are here, then we don't have anything. And so how important is it? I mean, maybe you can speak to this, is that if you do have somebody, with you, and you're finding small things to argue about, or just small things are now suddenly bothering you when they're not, how important would it be to be able to step outside of that and just be able to go, and we both need to just take a moment, all right?
Yeah.
So we could argue about this right now, and we could go our separate ways, but how is that going to serve you and me getting through this right now? Maybe you've got some advice to offer people who are watching.
Yeah. So I completely agree with what you said, and I feel like it is really important right now that we all are connected with each other and in communication. And I think one thing that is helpful for me is knowing that well, I guess that the word compassion is what comes to mind. And with that, I mean, having compassion for myself, which helps me to keep the level of anger, frustration, sadness, feeling alone in myself low. But another thing that that helps me in those situations is compassion for the person that triggered my reaction and triggered my emotion, because often the frustration that in my case my partner feels, it comes from a special situation too. that I might not be able to see in that moment when I'm triggered.
Mm.
But if I'm able to step back a little bit and look at what I can change, because I can't change him.
Mm.
I can only change the way I react to this. And instead of thinking that he should do this and he should do that and
Yeah.
he should listen to me and he should hold me right now and he should definitely know what I want from him right now, which is what we often do in a relationship. Like that's just how we are programmed. We feel like, well, isn't it obvious that I want a hug right now? Of course, I'm screaming at him and I'm shouting and I'm pushing him away, but he should really know that I want a hug right now.
Yeah.
And if we step back in that moment and allow ourselves to show that compassion for ourselves and give us on our own that comfort that we need, and then we can step into showing compassion for the person that is with us in that situation. That helps us because, and I mean real compassion, not compassion in a way of, okay, I calm myself down, now I come to you and I am nice to you and I instantly expect that, like, I actually just do that so you're nice to me so I can still feel comforted. I just changed the way I act right now, so you have to change the way you act, and if you don't do that, I'm upset and you're an asshole. That's not working. Unfortunately, it's not always that easy for us and other people to get over themselves in that situation just because we think now that we feel better they should change. That's not how it works.
And having that awareness, right? So we've been so busy with our lives and we've been so caught up in everything that we've been doing that it's almost like we've been functioning on automation. Everything is habitual. We don't even think about the fact that we're brushing our teeth because we're brushing our teeth. We don't have to think about it anymore. It's a habit. That's just what we do. We wake up in the morning, we get up, we do our stuff, we brush our teeth, we go. So treating our partners or our loved ones, our children, our dog, whoever it is that's around, we have this wonderful opportunity right now, given everything that we've got and just putting aside all the chaos and the stress and everything else that we've got, we do have this incredible opportunity to go inside of ourselves and to start to become aware of those things, like you say, that trigger us, or those things that cause us grief, or those things that we're actually not that happy with or that we'd like to change. And through that, we're developing and we're growing and we're becoming more familiar with who we are as a person. We are connecting with ourselves. And that's going to take time. Like you say, we can't just go, I know I'm connected with myself. I know everything about myself. So it's a process, and being kind and compassionate with yourself through that process, not expecting major changes to happen, not expecting you to suddenly just be able to let go of all your old belief systems and your who I was before COVID and now who I am during COVID and who on earth am I going to be when COVID's gone. That's too much to handle. The only thing you can do is really just work on right now, gaining that awareness of yourself and starting to be open to and being curious from a non-judgmental perspective, trying to become aware of what could possibly be going on for those around us. Like you say, there are things that trigger us. There are things that just push our buttons. I mean, that's what a trigger is, right? There's something that's maybe not only creating a physical response in me, but it's creating an emotional response, or it's bringing up something from my childhood when I got told that, you're not worth it and you're never going to have any money, and now I don't have a job and now I'm going to have no money, I must be worthless. And so becoming aware of what those stories are that we're telling ourselves, and what better a time to do it than right now when everything's gone quiet.
So for me, that's what I feel like it is. Like I shared with you, I struggled throughout the last days, and I feel like it comes and goes comes and goes in waves. Right now I'm in a good space. Before we talked, I had a great conversation with my coach too. I had good conversations with my friend and with my friends around that. And I think what is great for me is that I've already built up throughout the last years, build up a network and a kind of like also responsibility for my own. So I did not expect to, sorry, I think the lighting just changed a bit. I did not expect my friends to constantly check in with me. But I've been reaching out to them and I felt like, okay, I'm really like in a shitty position. And I just need to talk that through and just let it out. I'm worried that my parents are in Germany, my grandma is almost 90, she is not careful, she's running around outside and feels obligated to give everyone a hug who she sees, and I'm worried, and it helps me to acknowledge that. I'm also worried that, okay, I can't go to Germany. What does that mean about me? Am I not there for my family? Am I not, like, how important is that for me as a value? And how can I live with that situation that I am here right now? And no matter what happens, there is a high chance that I can't go back. And so those are all those things that are popping up. And what I wanted to say is that I feel like this is the thing that is good for me and that I've learned through my experience in life, but especially through losing my son 4 years ago, is that those things and those emotions can just come and go in waves. And one thing that I think helps most, no matter which situation it is, and I feel like for a lot of us, we're like in a grieving process right now and in a uncertainty. And I see a lot of connection between where I was at 4 years ago, not knowing what my future would bring. Would I get pregnant again? Would I ever be happy again? Would my relationship survive this? What do all this kind of reflecting that is happening for a lot of us right now because of the uncertainty is also what I experienced 4 years ago. And then this kind of like, okay, am I I know that some of the people that you talk through are like, well, I'm okay, but I feel guilty that I'm okay because I know a lot of people are not. So I think what is important in this kind of situation, no matter where it stems from, is acknowledging our emotions and our thoughts around that and allowing them and being with them. Because I can talk myself out of this. Of course I can. And I can say like, it's not worthless. It's worthless to feel this right now. We have to stay positive. And I agree. We have to, in a way, like keep our head over water and with being open minded and have an open heart and showing kindness to ourselves and to others. We can do more than with being stuck in fear. But oftentimes we are stuck in fear because we are not allowing ourselves to feel it. We are kind of stuck in this complete emotion, but we're not able to let it out because we're afraid if we really feel it, we're gonna die. It's gonna hurt so much that we're actually gonna die on it. Like that's been the case when I was losing my son. Like I just did not want to feel it because I was afraid if I really feel it, I'm not going to be able to live anymore.
Yeah, and that's part of our brain from primal days, right? Where it does whatever it can to keep you safe. It stops you from changing. It stops you from trying anything new. It stops you from diving too deep into your emotions. it's like, don't worry, I've got you. I'm going to keep you safe. We're not even going to go there. Don't try that new food. Keep with what you know. Don't go healthy. Stay eating what you're eating, you know. And it serves a purpose. And I think it's, you know, you mentioned feeling guilty earlier. You know, guilt is so damning, you know. Taking on guilt or feeling shame for the fact that we're in this position and that they're worse off people than ourselves, you know. That we've each gotten to this point in our life because of whatever lessons life has taught us or whichever path we've decided to take. We're all on our own journey here, and we can't be guilty for that. We can't experience shame for that, because that then denies all the celebrations and all the successes that we have actually gotten through, all the things that we've created, everything that we've manifested in our life. That then takes it and it just stands on it and it kicks it away, throws it in the rubbish. Okay. So I guess, you know, building up on that is for everybody to try as much as possible, not only to spend time working out who they are, pardon me, gaining that awareness of who they are, gaining that awareness of where the other person is coming from, but also kind of going, these are the issues that are actually getting brought up for me right now. It could be self-worth. It could be, in your instance, the grief of losing your son. It could be the fact that I can never keep a job. I always got told when I was younger that I would never amount to anything. And now my job is gone. This just proves that I don't amount to anything. It's like, no, 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 no. Let's just acknowledge the fact that there's a thought process happening there, and that has got nothing to do with your current situation. Your current situation is out of your hands to some extent, right? And if we can become aware of what are the stories that we tell ourselves and what is our belief system around this, and we can take that step into that vulnerable space where we go, I'm not perfect. What is it about myself that I can actually try and work on right now? I've got time. And kind of go, let me step into that. Let me get down and dirty. Let me get emotional. Let me spend some time now to work through all this rubbish that I've been carrying through in my life. Because by the time I emerge out of this at the other side, I want all this to be cleared up as much as possible.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like what is definitely, like you mentioned the word once, but vulnerability is one thing that I can see in there, because oftentimes that is what, especially in our society here in New Zealand, Germany is the same. We are not talking in a vulnerable way about our fears and our things that are coming up for us. Like we Germans, we talk about negative stuff. We're really good at complaining about it, but often only on the outside.
Yeah.
About what is annoying us, and politicians, neighbors, blah, 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 blah. And it's good to realize that, because oftentimes that is what is triggering us. And if we then use this chance to ask us, why is it triggering us? And we can be vulnerable sharing that with other people. If it's in a relationship, sharing that with the person that we struggle with, that triggered us, and say like, hey, I know this situation triggered me. You did this and this and this, and this triggered me. And I think it is because I felt like I am not providing for you in this relationship. I always thought I'm the one, I can take care of you. It's important. It's one of my values. However, I feel like with losing my job, that I'm not good enough, and I'm scared that I'm losing you by not holding up to your expectations. And I know that you're actually not that kind of person, but that is something that came up for me when you were saying, such and such.
I love that, because by you saying that, Julia, you're giving permission to people to take off their stoic mask and to be like, I'm going to tell you right now how I feel, and I'm going to trust you with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take that chance to give you the opportunity to be able to respond to me in a safe, caring, kind, compassionate way, because I need you to hear what it is that I'm feeling, because that is important for me. And if you can understand where I'm coming from, and I can try and work on understanding where you're coming from, and we can now speak openly, then aren't we in a better place than what we were 5 minutes ago?
Yeah.
And can't we
Sometimes
now
it might
get
not
through?
work. Sometimes we might figure the other person with that. But I think it oftentimes also helps to pre-frame that and for yourself and say like
Mm,
to yourself, okay, I know that's my part in that is that I can share open and honest with you what I'm feeling. I'm not doing that to blame you.
yeah.
I'm not doing that because I feel you are responsible for what I feel.
Mm,
I know that's not the case.
mm,
So don't think I'm here to blame you.
yeah.
And I love you, and I know that you are not, you don't mean to hurt me.
Yeah.
And if you hurt me, you only do that because you are hurt.
Yeah. Because you're struggling.
Because we're all struggling sometimes. And
Yeah.
oftentimes we just have not learned better to be with each other in those situations. And yeah, I think that is really important to be vulnerable and also to offer, I think, communication for like I think like you and I through our coaching education and through our own constant drive to grow and develop our own personal skills.
Mm,
Um, it is still freaking hard.
yeah.
But I realize it is getting easier and easier and easier for me.
Mm,
But I also know that I've been watching people talking about similar things as we talk about today a few years ago, and I've been like, well, but it's not working because he is never reacting if I do that.
mm,
Um, so what I wanted to offer in that kind of situation is to really, find someone else to talk about that with that. And I know that sometimes um, my friends just jumped with me on the complaint plane
yeah.
and just started to rant with me over my partner, which made me feel a little bit better. It definitely helped my ego to know that I'm right and he's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I feel sometimes that it's also good to have someone there, friends that I made now through the years that are like mirroring back to me what I just said and tell me like,
Yeah.
I totally get you and I know why you are hurt. And I also see why he is hurt right now. Can I
Mm.
share with you why I think he is hurt? Um,
Offers you that
and
different perspective.
exactly helping
Mm,
me to see it when I can't see it because I'm not in the position, like I'm emotionally not in the
mm,
position to access that right now.
yeah.
Um, so what I think that we need to do right now in this online community that we right now are probably is the only thing that we can create this, because I really think that physical contact is without wanting to panic or anything,
Mm,
but we should limit it whenever we can,
mm-hmm,
no matter if we have like restrictions from the government or not,
mm,
no matter if police is enforcing anything or not. But
mm,
if we don't need to, we don't need to spread the virus
mm,
in a way that is overloading capacities of hospitals.
mm. And so,
But reaching out to your friends,
yeah.
no matter how hard it is, because I know it can be really hard to be vulnerable and saying like, sorry, I am
Mm,
feeling shit right now. Is someone there to talk? I did that last weekend, just sending a message to the friends that I know would be able to help me and hold some space for me.
mm,
And then I jumped instantly on a call with someone that helped me to just talk through stuff. And I want to basically, like, I want to offer that to people who don't have that base of friends too. And I know it is hard to reach out to someone. Maybe sometimes it is even easier to talk to someone who's not your friend, because you're not feeling that kind of shame around being quote unquote weak with someone else, because you're like, okay, you know what, I know this person. So I just feel like if someone feels like connecting, and I'm happy and totally willing to talk to them. And I think it's amazing what you do to let us share what we're struggling with, and let other people see, like, that's like one part of guilt and shame, like seeing, oh fuck, I'm not alone with this. It's so helpful to know that we are not the only ones who are like, I know how unreasonable it is to fight right now, and blah 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 blah. And I know I'm not the only one who's losing their job. I'm not the only one who's worried about their parents. I'm not the only one who's feeling guilty that they are not with them, or whatever it is that is struggling. So I think it's amazing what you're doing, and also offering people to get different resources and different mindsets and different frames, because what might work for you might not work for me.
Yeah, exactly. So, Julia, I'm just wondering if you were to offer a takeaway message for anybody who's watching this video in a sentence or two, what would be your one thing that you would like to put out there for people to think about, or to try and do differently, or just to be motivated by? What would you like to say?
I think connecting with love and kindness towards yourself and others, even those that you really don't understand. For some people, it might be triggering that there are groups of hundreds of people catching up because they now have the day off, and they're like, oh, I don't see that so much here in New Zealand, but I know a lot of people in Germany do that. Like, oh, cool, we have the day off now. We're not allowed to go to work. Let's go and hang out together. And I know I can feel how that triggers me, because I feel like, how responsible are you? But I guess with that, even for our own emotions, connecting with love and kindness and compassion.
I love that.
They're like, okay, they're in a different place than I am. They have a different understanding of this. It would be great if they would have been the same experience if I do. It always makes it easier for us, you know. If someone just agrees with us all the time, we're not getting triggered. But using that, like, compassion for ourselves, for our own emotion, but also compassion for the other person, so we can be, no matter how, we don't know what's going to happen, no matter what's going to happen in the future, we can try to be the best version of ourselves. For ourselves and for others.
I love that. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for reaching out to all of us, and yeah, I think it's great.
Look, just, spread the word. Let's get as many people on this forum as we can. Let's, I'll load the video up just to share it amongst everybody. Just, we want to go viral, for want of a better pun. The more people who hear your story are the more people that together we can impact, that we can help through these times. And I just want to really offer my sincere gratitude and appreciation for you taking some time out at a really stressful time for you. We've heard this now, and we just offer you all our love and prayers to, that you get through it the other side, and it all just works out. That's all we're wanting.
I think it's, like I said, I think it's a great opportunity to learn. I'm gonna adapt my lifestyle, which is great. I'm gonna have more challenges in my relationship, which is great. I'm gonna learn so much about myself. And yeah, it all comes down to compassion for
Mm,
ourselves and the people around us, I guess.
perfect. Well, thank you so much. This is where we say goodbye.
Yes.
And yeah, just, you know, just keep at it, keep it up. You know, we can do this. We can get through this one day at a
Yes.
time.
Thank you so much.
No worries. Thanks, Julia. See you then. Bye.